When petals refused to wilt. In a modest house on the edge of Carolina pine woods, where the breeze smelled of jasmine and memory, Miriam Scott prepared for the return of her eldest son. The early morning sun draped itself across the picket fence like golden lace, kissing the paint she had freshly brushed on the porch just the night before. Everything had to be perfect. Malik was coming home. She fluttered through the house like a woman reborn, lemon polish on the floors, spice cake in the oven, gospel humming low from the kitchen radio. It had been 5 long years. 5 years of prison walls, visitation booths, and letters smudged with tears and perfume. But none of that mattered now. Her son was coming home. Her boy. She always called him her boy, even when he was 21 and towering over her with eyes that had grown hard and voice grown sharp. She still called him her baby, even when he got caught shoplifting, then fighting, then stealing a car. Malik was misunderstood, she said. Smart but angry. Just needs love. And whenever his father tried to discipline him, tried to carve out a man from the wildness growing behind Malik's smirk, Miriam would step in, fierce as a lioness. "You don't understand him," she'd shout. "No," his father Richard would say, shaking his head. "You don't want to." Richard had grown tired. Tired of arguing, of being the villain in a house that no longer welcomed his voice, tired of watching his wife pour honey over rot and call it healing. One night, after a bitter fight that turned Miriam's words into knives, he left, took his tools, his silence, and his dignity, and never came back. Miriam never forgave him. She'd raise her boys her way, she said, with love, with understanding, with no man barking orders and breaking spirits. But love without correction is a garden without fences, beautiful until the wild devours it. And it did. Malik grew into his rage, first in schoolyards, then in courtrooms. But now he was coming home. When the rusted bus doors hissed open at the Greyhound station, Malik stepped out in a jacket too thin for the morning chill. His face was older, still handsome, but carved from something harder. His smile was slow, cautious, but Miriam saw only her baby. She threw her arms around him, pressing her cheek to his chest, the smell of cold metal and smoke clinging to his clothes. 2 weeks passed like a dream. Malik fixed the leaky faucet. He played video games with Isaiah, his 7-year-old brother, who watched him with wide, innocent eyes. They cooked, laughed, read scripture together. At night, Miriam sat on the porch with her wine glass and thought, "See? I was right. All he needed was home." But home wasn't what he needed. He needed truth, boundaries, consequences, a father's hard hands and a mother's honest mirror. Not a pedestal carved from guilt and denial. The cracks were small at first, a flash of anger when Isaiah spilled juice on his sneakers, a locked drawer in Miriam's room that was found open and empty, her missing jewelry, a coldness in Malik's eyes that flickered like lightning on a clear night. Then came the storm. It was a Thursday. Rain beat down on the roof like drums in mourning. The power flickered. Isaiah had fallen asleep in the den, curled like a question mark under a fleece blanket. Miriam was at the sink, scrubbing dishes that didn't need cleaning, humming that same hymn her mother used to sing when life got heavy. She didn't hear Malik behind her. She didn't turn in time. It was over quickly. Too quickly. When they found the house, the wind had already scattered the petals from the vase on the windowsill. 2 bodies. 1 missing. A community in shock. A town repeating the same questions. Why? But some people already knew the answer. Richard, grayer now, returned to identify Isaiah's body. He stood in the doorway of the home he once built with calloused hands and wept silently. Not just for his son, not just for the woman who once loved him with fire and fury, but for all the signs ignored, all the warnings dismissed, all the love that was weaponized until it destroyed. Woven lesson. Love is not the same as protection, and protection is not the same as blindness. Miriam believed that mothering meant defending, softening, explaining away. She mistook coddling for care and mistook her husband's discipline for cruelty. In doing so, she not only drove away the man who could have balanced her love with strength, she raised a boy who never learned to be accountable. And that's the bitter truth. When we silence the voices that challenge us, we leave room only for our illusions. Miriam loved with her whole soul, but she loved wrong. And sometimes, when petals refuse to wilt, they rot from the inside out.